The idea of hell, or some version of a horrible place where bad people go after they die, exists in pretty much every culture around the world. Even non-religious folk use the word to describe a place of unimaginable pain and torment, even if that place is just Walmart and Black Friday. Naturally, hell has provided plenty of opportunities in the horror movie world. Filmmakers and writers have been getting creative with depictions of the underworld pretty much since the medium began, and there are so many movies that feature the realm of fire and brimstone that a single list simply wasn't enough. With that in mind, I'm Sean Ferry for What Culture Horror, and here are 10 more best horror movies about hell. Number 10, The Sentinel. In Britain, Michael Winner is known pretty much exclusively for his catchphrase, "Calm down, dear." To the rest of the world, he's probably best known for his work as a film director, which he probably preferred. In 1977, he made The Sentinel, a low-budget supernatural horror starring the likes of Christina Rains, Chris Sarandon, and Burgess Meredith. Rains plays Allison, a suicidal model who has recently moved into a new flat in Brooklyn. She soon discovers why the rent is so low. The building is actually a gateway to hell guarded by a blind priest. That's what you get for not reading the small print. Alongside her boyfriend Michael, Allison makes a series of unnerving discoveries before coming face to face with a horde of demons looking to escape to the surface. Whilst the plot isn't exactly watertight, The Sentinel is B-movie fun, with a final scene where Allison is tormented by the residents of the underworld being particularly disturbing. Also, fans of Before They Were Famous moments will have a field day with this one, as The Sentinel also features appearances from Christopher Walken, Beverly D'Angelo, and Jeff Goldblum prior to their big breaks. Number 9, Highway to Hell. This film features Ben Stiller playing Attila the Hun and Gilbert Gottfried playing Hitler. What else do you need, really? Highway to Hell from 1991 is as schlocky and low-rent as you can get. Chad Lowe and Rachel Clark play Charlie and Rachel, a young couple very much in love until Rachel is kidnapped by one of Satan's minions. Upon learning that his beloved is to be married to the devil in a dark ceremony, Charlie must venture into hell itself to get her back. If that doesn't sound like a good time, then what does? Charlie's journey through the bad place is a hoot, as he encounters various demonic foes, including Cerberus, the baddest of good boys, and various dead people, including the aforementioned Austrian dictator. It was never going to bowl anyone over with its special effects, but Highway to Hell is a surprisingly well-written B-movie. That might be because it was penned by Brian Helgeland, who would go on to win Best Adapted Screenplay Oscar for LA Confidential. Now that's a bit of a glow-up. Number 8, The Beyond. In the early 1980s, Italian director Luciano Fulci released 3 films as part of his Gates to Hell trilogy, the second of which, L'Aldea, or The Beyond to give it its English name, came out in 1981. Lisa Merrill moves to New Orleans after recently inheriting the Seven Doors Hotel. She eventually realizes that all is not what it seems, and she discovers that a previous owner was a powerful warlock charged with protecting the hellish portal inside one of the rooms. Obviously, the gate gets opened and causes all sorts of problems for Lisa. The undead begin to terrorize her, and she must find a way to stop them before it's too late. That is actually the beauty of The Beyond. At the end of the film, Lisa finds herself in a wasteland, trapped there for all eternity. Was this the moment she actually entered hell, or were all the ghoulish assaults actually a clue that she'd been there all along? If you like what you hear, you should check out City of the Living Dead and The House by the Cemetery to complete the set. Number 7, The Ninth Gate. Even though it's directed by Roman Polanski, who is a prick, The Ninth Gate from 1999 is still worth watching. Starring Johnny Depp as Dean Corso, an expert bookseller, the film sees its main character come into possession of a tome that could supposedly summon the devil. What begins as a simple investigation into the book's authenticity quickly becomes a race against time, as Corso must stop a satanic cult from using the text to complete their ritual. Hell actually doesn't appear for most of The Ninth Gate's runtime. Instead, it's more of a threat, the ultimate price to be paid if Corso is unsuccessful. There's plenty of intrigue too, as the hero is constantly followed by a mysterious girl who is also hiding her own biblical secret. It's far from a perfect film. The plot can get a little bit ridiculous at times. The Ninth Gate is still a fun time that does a great job in making hell feel like a big deal. If you can get past who made it, then you're in for a good watch. Number 6, VHS 99. This might be cheating a little bit, as only 20% of 2002's VHS 99 is about hell. To be fair, the entire VHS series is made up of anthology films. 99 is no different, with 5 different stories all under one roof. Talk about a bargain. The final segment, To Hell and Back, directed by Vanessa and Joseph Winter, is filmed from the perspective of 2 cameramen, Nate and Troy. They think they've landed themselves a sweet gig, but it turns out they've actually been contracted to film a group of witches summoning a powerful demon. Don't you just hate when that happens? Unfortunately, Nate and Troy get sucked into hell via the witch's portal, where all manner of nasty things unfold. Their whole ordeal is captured on film from a first-person perspective, placing the viewer right in the thick of the hellacious action. VHS 99 is a good time overall, but To Hell and Back is one of its strongest parts. It's a simple premise with a nice twist executed perfectly, preying on that basic human fear of being trapped in heaven's basement. Number 5. 1408. Not all depictions of hell show it to be a fiery pit full where you get poked with tridents all day long. Sometimes movies take a more abstract approach to Hades, such as 1408. Released in 2007, this Stephen King adaptation stars John Cusack as Mike Enslin, an author who has made his living off the supernatural, though he himself doesn't believe in it. One day he gets a postcard challenging him to visit the supposedly haunted room 1408 in La Dolphin's Hotel. He accepts, which proves to be his downfall. It doesn't take long for Mike to realize he's made a massive whoopsie. The room torments him relentlessly, showing him pictures of his dead daughter, his dying father, and unleashing all manner of horrible visions to punish him for his cynicism. Even the least sin-illiterate person out there could work out that room 1408 is hell. Instead of an all-purpose torture space, it uses each individual's fears to make them suffer, which is way worse than a lake of fire. Granted, a lake of fire still isn't great, but it's preferable in this scenario. Number 4. Devil. When most people think of hell and elevators together, they'll probably just imagine being stuck in one with someone who's had a heavy lunch. In 2010's Devil, which was directed by John Eric Dowdle and produced by M. Night Shyamalan, bad farts are the least of the protagonist's problems. A group of 5 people end up trapped in an elevator, unable to escape. Rescuers working to free the passengers are stumped as to how this could have happened, but all is revealed when one of them sees the face of Satan on the security camera. It's later discovered that the trapped victims have all committed a horrible sin and their souls are being harvested by the title character. The elevator serves as a pretty on-the-nose metaphor for some kind of purgatory where the condemned wait for their judgment. As well as the struggles of the 5 prisoners, there's also drama on the outside as the rescuers are divided into 2 groups, those who believe in the devil and those who don't. A unique take on hell, Devil will make sure you always take the stairs going forward. Number 3. Erementari. Father Joxemio Barandiarian was a Basque priest who also conducted years of research into the myths and folklore of the Spanish region. He collected dozens of fairy tales dating back centuries, including The Smith and the Devil, which laid the groundwork for the 2017 Basque language horror Erementari. Directed by Paul Urquillo Anijo, Erementari, which means blacksmith, is about a young girl who accidentally frees a demon being held captive by a mysterious man who in turn teaches her about their kind and how to trap them. Hell is a constant presence in this film, despite most of it taking place in historical Basque. The demon, Sartiel, is being hunted by his superiors for failing to connect enough souls, and the movie ends with its hero, Paxti, journeying into the underworld to find his missing wife. There are some chilling portrayals of hell in Erementari, but the main hook is the stellar story and bond forged between Paxti and his young charge. Also, if your Basque is getting a little rusty, this is a very enjoyable way to brush up. Number 2. Mad God. He may not be a household name, but visual effects guru Phil Tippett has played a part in some of the biggest movies ever made, from Star Wars to RoboCop, Jurassic Park to the Twilight Saga. In 2021, after working on it for over 30 years, Tippett finally released his own movie, stop-motion horror Mad God, and goodness gracious, was it worth the wait. Produced on a shoestring budget, Mad God follows an unnamed figure as he descends into the belly of the earth, encountering all sorts of horrors as he goes. As he traverses hell, it becomes clear that his intentions are to destroy it, but this doesn't go to plan. To try and explain the full plot of Mad God would be a complete waste of time. It's an extremely high concept open to interpretation and encompasses all sorts of big themes, ranging from human condition to the very meaning of life itself. If you're after something cozy to watch on a Friday night, then this is not the movie for you. However, if you're after a challenging depiction of hell unlike anything you've ever seen before, then this should be right up your alley. Number 1. Hexon. Swedish movie Hexon was first released in the US in 1968 under the name Witchcraft Through the Ages. However, it had been around for a long time before that, as it was first completed way back in 1922. The work of Danish filmmaker and actor Benjamin Christensen, Hexon, which means the witch, is an exploration of the way witchcraft and its supposed practitioners have been treated throughout history. It has no dialogue and was intended to be accompanied by a live orchestra to illustrate its points. If you don't happen to have a spare orchestra lying around, YouTube will suffice. Part of Hexon's story takes viewers into hell itself, where the devil taunts prospective witches and then punishes them once his deceit has been revealed. The visuals Christensen created for this sequence are incredible, just as raw and terrifying today as they were to audiences back in the day. The film was banned in several countries upon release because this was the 1920s when banning things was pretty popular. Hexon is a fascinating insight into a long-forgotten era of cinema, one that still holds up over a century later. That is everything for our list today, folks. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jacob Simmons, who wrote the article upon which this video is based. You can read that over on WhatCulture.com. whatculturehorror.com. I have been Sean. You can follow me on the various socials at Sean Ferrick. Please make sure that you're following at What Culture Horror, the various socials as well. Until I see you again, look after yourselves. If you see a portal to hell, maybe turn in the opposite direction. Thanks very much.